just the other day when I was making the video about this guitar and I was doing a review on it, I forgot to talk about some really important things, which is how a guitar is made. There's basically 3 levels of guitar, and let's talk about that now. The first level would be for the top, the sides, and the back of the guitar to be laminated. Now what that means, it's like a plywood, it's layers of wood. And guitars that are made that way are cheaper, they're more durable, they don't sound as good as solid wood guitars. And that's the other level, is an all solid wood guitar, where your top, which is on this one it would be spruce, the sides and the back would be all solid wood. And those guitars are more expensive because they're harder to make. You have to take more care in them. Also, the guitar sounds better, which is really great, and they age with time, whereas the laminated guitars don't age with time. Now, the problem or the downside of having an all solid wood guitar is that you've got to keep it humidified. You've got to make sure that if your humidity drops way below 45%, like if it stays in the teens or something, like if you live in Arizona or if you live in even Idaho or Utah, places like that, where your humidity can be really low. Anywhere in the West, Nevada, some places in California inland, not necessarily near the coast. The problem is that, let's see, Texas, New Mexico, you know, we could name all these states that have, well, actually Texas is pretty humid. All the parts that I've been in, which is San Antonio and Laredo and McAllen and Corpus Christi and all of those places. Boy, it was really humid down there. So we didn't have to worry too much about humidity or humidity problems, except there might be too much high humidity. You've got 3 choices in the kind of guitar that you can get. You can get an all solid wood guitar. The top, the sides, the back are solid. Usually the neck is solid, but there are different variations on what kind of fretboard material they'll use. My favorite is ebony. This one is rosewood. It's solid rosewood. Rosewood is pretty good too. Ebony is a little harder wood. It's black. But you have to make sure that if you live in an area where you have low humidity, then you have to humidify the guitar, either in a room or get a humidifier. And I don't know if you've ever seen my videos on how to make a humidifier for a guitar, but I have a couple of those. And let's see, the next level is to get a solid top with a laminated back and sides. That's what this guitar is. This Blueridge has a solid spruce top with laminated back and sides. Now it looks like rosewood, but it's really a laminated wood, and it's cheaper that way. It's not as expensive, and it's a little more durable, but the solid top gives it a really good sound. And I have a couple of guitars with solid tops, and I really like it. I do have a guitar, my classical guitar, has all solid wood, rosewood back and sides, solid spruce top, ebony fingerboard. And that's more of a delicate guitar. I have to make sure that I keep that humidified all the time. Because I live in Idaho now, and it's a little more dry here. The average is in the 20s, like 28% humidity. And when it starts raining, then it'll go up. But anyway. And then the other one is, of course, is all laminated wood. And you can usually tell laminated wood because you can see the layers when you look at the side in the sound hole right here, when you look at the sides. Now sometimes they'll get really tricky and they'll roll the single layer around so it looks like it's not a laminated top, but that's a solid top, but it's really laminated. So you really have to look at the specs to see if you've got a laminated top or a solid top. Now, I've got a Fender guitar that I love that's a laminated guitar. It's great for camping and things like that. This is the one that I use for recording. I use this one all the time in my videos. I love the sound of it. I just love this guitar. I also use my classical guitar for recording and things like that. Those are the only two guitars that I usually use for recording, except for I do have an electric guitar, a Yamaha electric, that I like. And maybe I should do a video sometime on different kinds of guitars, like Fender guitars and Gibson guitars. And I've owned Fenders and Gibsons and Epiphones and different kinds of guitars before. This particular guitar has open machine heads. It doesn't have a covered machine head. And that's okay. I can get in there and I can work with it. I can lubricate it. This is the way it came, and so that's the way I've kept it. I think if I had to change them, if they got messed up or old or something and they started to need to be replaced, then I'd get something else. Something good, Grover's or something. The only issue that I've had with this guitar is that the binding on the edge right here has little cracks in it. And I'm not sure if that's because it got a little dried out or something, but it doesn't really bother me that much because the only person that can see it is me. And when you're looking at it and I'm playing, right, you have no idea that I have a little crack there. And it's just like a hairline crack. And it's not a big deal. The other side doesn't have any cracks at all right here. Oh, there's a little dent right there, I think, where I dropped it maybe one time. But on this side, that's where I have these little hairline cracks in that binding. I remember after I bought this guitar, someone said to me, "Wow, that's a really pretty guitar." And I said, "It is?" And I started to look at it, and I realized that it had abalone shell binding right here on the edge. The rosette is abalone all the way around here. It's got abalone markers on the neck to show you where 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 15, 17th frets are. It's got abalone up here in the name and right there. And I didn't buy this guitar because I liked the way it looked. I bought this guitar because I liked the way it felt and the way it sounded. And having it be a handsome guitar, having it be something that is pleasant to look at, is just a bonus. Another thing that you want to do every once in a while when you change your strings is that you want to oil your fretboard, because your bridge right here and your fretboard are the two places on the guitar where it's not sealed. Now, I love the gloss finish on this guitar. I think it's wonderful because it's very quiet when you rub it. If it's a matte finish, I have a couple of guitars that have matte finish. And when you rub them like this, they go shh, 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 like kind of like sandpaper. But on a Baby Taylor that I had that had a matte finish, I played it so much that now it's a gloss finish. It's kind of cool because, you know, I've brushed it with my hand and that matte finish has been worn down to a gloss. And now it doesn't make any noise. I love it. So you want to oil your fretboard, and there are fretboard oils that you can get at the store. I've used different kinds of oils. I've used linseed oil, which is too heavy. I don't really like it. I've used olive oil, which is okay. I've used almond oil, grapeseed oil, different kinds of oils. You can use lemon oil, like for furniture, you know, this kind of stuff. That's really wonderful. Or you can get an oil at the store and pay 20 bucks for it or something that they say is specially made for your fretboard, and that's fine too. So you can check out different things. You can't really hurt the wood if you put any kind of oil on it. If you don't like the oil, you can put something else on it. But the oil will keep it from cracking. It will keep it looking good and nice and new and beautiful all the time. So you want to do that like at least every year. Sometimes I'll do it like every 6 months or so, 6 or 9 months, depending on if I look at it and I think, oh, it looks a little dry, I think I'll put some oil on it. All right, that's all I have for you right now. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.